So I want you to see the image that I just put you, okay, that I gave you. Now I want you to see where the dark places are. The darkest of the darks and the midtones. Those are the ones that we're going to work with our yellow Prismacolor. We're going to do just a layout, a map on where the midtones, the highlights, and our darkest shadows are. Okay then? Where I always start is right here when in this part right here of the face. Okay then, so I want you to get your Prismacolor and just start making those values. Okay then, now as you can see here we have a very dark value. Okay then, and we have the dark values here of our nostrils, of the nose. Right here we have a dark value down here on this rim right here. You can go a little bit into here, okay then? Just a little bit, slightly. But I want you to be careful taking care of those whites. Here as well. Down here, I'm not even pressuring the pencils, okay? Here as well. Very slightly. These are midtones, so I'm not even putting a lot of pressure on them. Okay then? We're finished there. Now let's start right over here. There is a lot of dark tones right here. And what we're going to do is we're just going to do this here. See? These are midtones. And if you want to make them darker, just put another layer on top of it. There we go. Here, this part right here is very, very dark. There we go. Here as well. It's just creating a map. Okay, we're just checking out where those tones are. Let me get a little bit closer. Okay, you can see perfectly there how I'm starting to highlight. I want you to be seeing the image, and I want you to have the video as I'm doing this, okay? So you can actually see where I'm going. This part right here as well is darker. And it extends over here. Alright then? It's darker right here as well. Here. And there's a highlight right here. There's like a triangle highlight. Okay then? And we'll respect that right there. There's a midtone here. And there's a dark shadow right here. Try to do your layers with your pencils. Okay then? Remember, let me do you a chart. Okay, here we just have a very short example on highlight, midtone, and shadow using your yellow. Remember, highlight is going to be even non-existing of yellow. So I'm just putting a very little light shade foundation, and I'm leaving like very white paper here. Okay then? You can even see the layer of yellow that I just put. Okay? It's very light. Our midtones are going to be slightly darker. Okay then? Slightly darker. And you'll be able to like push or rise the volume of your midtones, of their values, by just adding layers. Okay then? You see that is more yellow than our highlight. Okay then? And our shadows are just going to be achieved by just applying more layers and more layers and more layers until it is a very dark or very pronounced yellow, very bright yellow. You can see that as I'm putting layers, it's starting to get darker and darker or brighter and brighter. Alright then, the same thing goes when we're doing our face, our portrait. Just check where those midtones or those dark shadows are and just apply another layer, and you just put and apply layers until it's darker or brighter, and you can actually see where they are. Okay then? Keep applying those even over here. Check. Right down here, it's a very dark. Put one layer. There we go. It's dark here. And we go down here. And we go over here. Okay then? There we go. There's also a dark layer down here. So let's create this map. So just check. Never outline anything. Always go very subtle. Okay then? Let's check down here in this part of the neck. You can actually see that there's a white highlight right here. Okay then, here. So how do we get that highlight brighter? By just shading down here. Okay then? Let's do just one subtle mid-tone. Okay then? There's a highlight right here as well. So let's start right here. This is the darkest part. Okay then? Now what we're going to do is that we're just going to make this, and as we get towards the highlight, we go softer, softer, very soft. And here we get darker, and then as we get towards the light, we go very soft. You see the difference? There's a shadow, there's a midtone, and there's a highlight. Shadow, midtone, highlight. Shadow, midtone, highlight. Alright then? The same thing goes right here. There's a shadow here. And once we get towards the light, midtone, highlight. Okay then? Same thing goes down here. There's a midtone. And there's a highlight right there. Okay then? Same thing goes down here in the nose. There's a midtone. There we go. And this is midtone as well. A very subtle midtone. Now there's a midtone right here as well. In the corner, and we start, and there we go. Now, here is an edge. We do this darker, and here's another edge, darker as well. Here in this part, let's make a little midtone. Alright then. Now it's up, not down, it's up. Because this place right here is very bright. So we only do this in a very slight midtone. There is like a part of her neck that's right here that we can do darker. And we just do this with our pencil until it starts to get very much dark. You see? Alright then. Now, let's work a little bit with this eye right here. Push pause and rewind so you can actually see what I'm doing, and just do that with your drawing. Okay then? Let's start right here again. Let's darken that. Let's just darken. There we go. You see how we have a map now, and we can actually now distinguish not a flat drawing, but a drawing with volume. And the thing that gave it the volume was the fact that we're just playing with values. A dark value, a mid value, and a highlight. Okay, then that's the only trick on doing these drawings. Now what I want you to do is, I want you to just highlight just a little bit. Okay then? Highlight a little bit, highlight a little bit. There we go. That's perfect. What you can do is just give it a mid-tone right here. Very light mid-tone. You see? The hair is different. I just want you to localize where those dark shadows are. There's a dark shadow here. There's a dark shadow over here as well. Okay then? There's a very dark shadow here. You see? I'm just doing this very quickly. Let's put another layer right around here. Okay then? Let's put a layer right here. There we go, right? She has more dark value here and under her nose. There we go. Check your drawing. Smooth out those lines. There we go. You see? Shadow, midtones, and highlights. Okay then? They're very subtle, but they make a huge difference in your drawing. Here as well. Just check all those dark highlights that she has in her hair. They're very dark. Here as well. 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 You see? That is how it's supposed to look with the first layer or undercoat in yellow. Okay then, that's how it's going to look. Now let's work with our blues and our greens. So, I have here with me our lightest blue. Okay then, where are we going to put our lightest blue? Where the darkest shadows are. Obviously, this blue mixed with yellow will give us a very light tone of green. Let's see the following. I want you to just do this right here on the eye, and it's going to look greenish blue. Okay then? That's okay. That's the tone that we want to work with. The same thing goes over here. You see how we're starting to work with different values of green. Remember, this is a verdaccio, and in a verdaccio, we are working with different scales of green. Okay then? Do this. Now, this eye goes towards this part right here. Let's start here in this line. Okay then? Let's start mixing that blue with that yellow, and it's going to give us a green. Okay then? Just where we put all those midtones, we're going to put this blue. Okay then? So it can give us the greens that we need. You see? Same thing goes down in here. Right here. Just subtle. Everywhere we put that yellow, we're going to put that green in. Okay then? And we're going to get different types of greens. Light greens, darker greens. You start seeing it? It's starting to turn into green. Here as well, right here. Very subtle, very subtle. It's okay if a little bit of blue comes out. Don't worry about it. Here as well. I don't want you to press on the pencil. I just want it to look green. And just by mixing it slowly on top of the color, it's going to start showing those green tones. Here as well. I know it's going to be a little bit difficult for you guys, but I want you to try to do your best. Here as well. If you see a mid-tone and it's not so dark, just layer it very carefully. Very, very carefully. Here as well. Here's a dark, dark, dark green. Here as well. And here as well, it's a very light green. So I'm just putting very little. Here as well, very, very little. And very, very little. Okay, so you see how I'm working with the greens now? It's starting to show up. And I'm not even pressing on the pencils. Here as well, contour line. And I'm going towards the top. Here as well. Here as well. Here as well, in those dark areas. This is way much more easier because we already established where our dark tones are going to be, where our middle values are going to be, and where our highlights are going to be. Here as well. Okay then. Here as well. These dark crest lines. It's going to start to give us those dark greens. Those very light lemon greens, okay? Alright then. There we go. Okay, once we got that now, alright then, just shading this a little darker. I want you to go get your yellow and I want you to just work on top of all those values that we just gave it. It's going to look brighter green. Okay then? I did not like this. Sorry, my bad. And you're going to start seeing that that green will get greener. Okay, lime green. Okay then? Under here as well. We're just giving it another layer of yellow. So anything that just was left with very high blue turns into green. Okay then? All those little pencil strokes that we didn't get to cover with yellow are going to start getting covered with yellow now. And they will turn in green now. Okay then, so this is the first step on doing your verdaccio, right? Starting to look green now. Now I want you to work with your green.